Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, and we're going to talk about graphic novels, DC Comics graphic novel, I Am Not Starfire in particular, and how it relates to the YA comic book scene now and what's going on in manga and how this might not be the best bet for DC Comics. I'm putting it mildly, but this is apparently what they're going to do. Now, Geeky and I did a video together about the state of the YA graphic novel scene and the YA scene. We used to actually be represented by a New York literary agency. We used to pitch graphic novel series. We were in and around that scene for a number of years. And, frankly, the money's not there for most people. I'm going to be honest. If you're not doing Dogman or you're not Raina Telgemeier, you're not going to make a lot of money publishing these kinds of books. They don't sell terribly well, a lot of them. But we're going to put in perspective just how pathetic the sales are compared to manga. And this is what they're going to try to go head-to-head, with manga and other YA graphic novels with it. This is what DC Comics thinks the future is. I disagree. I disagree, but we'll see. This comic could actually sell really well because of all the hype, the controversy around it. So before we get into it, I want to point out that Geeky Sparkles is not going to be in this video because she's very busy fulfilling orders for her toy drive. She has, been selling a lot of merchandise on Etsy and using that merchandise, all the proceeds, to buy toys for underprivileged kids this year. Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of toys. Check it out on Twitter. We've been posting pics of the carloads as we've been getting them. We just picked up a bunch of Fortnite figures today. All the kids want Fortnite. They want Fortnite. They don't want I Am Not Starfire. But she's very grateful. She's just very, very busy. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. And check this out before it ends, The Clownfish TV pin pack. You get 2 pins in the pack with me and Geeky in our avatar form. There's only 9 days left to go. And, these pretty much, they just order one batch. Our merch partner over at CrowdMade, they order one batch of these, and whatever's ordered is what's ordered. There are a few more of the Bubbly Steve pins if you go out to shopclownfish.com left, but for the most part, if you don't get it via pre-order, you're probably not going to get them. So there we go. All right, let's talk about what we're here to talk about, which is I Am Not Starfire. Controversial graphic novel by Mariko Tamaki, who is best known for YA graphic novels, right? And she's also the new regular writer on Batman or Detective. I can't remember which one, but some people said her Wonder Woman's not bad, so maybe it'll be okay. But a lot of people did not really take well to the announcement of this YA graphic novel, which introduces a frumpy dumpy goth daughter of Starfire. So Starfire is like a superhero. She's hot, she's fit. Everybody loves Starfire, and her daughter is just not. Let's read the article here on ICV2. Then we're going to show you some sample pages. And then we're going to talk about the state of the YA graphic novel scene and just the YA scene. Then we're going to talk about the state of DC Comics. And then we're going to show you manga sales numbers, including the sales numbers for Demon Slayer, which are astronomical. 82 million copies of Demon Slayer sold in 2020. There's nothing that Marvel or DC or all of the Scholastic, all of them put together. There's nothing they're producing over here that's even close to the numbers that Demon Slayer is pulling. So coming from ICV2, New York Times bestselling author Mariko Tamaki is teaming up with artist Yoshi Yoshitani to debut I'm Not Starfire, an original YA graphic novel that follows Mandy, the daughter of Starfire. She navigates the highs and lows of high school, along with the pressure of having a DC superhero for a mom. The graphic novel will be released on August 10th, 2021, and the character of Mandy looks almost exactly like Mariko Tamaki IRL. If you go find a picture, some people are like, wait a minute, is this a self-insert? Was your mom like a supermodel or something and you're just salty or what? So they don't really go into a whole lot of detail about what the book is. They show some of the art though. But she said she dyes her hair black and hates everyone but her best friend Lincoln. To Starfire, who is from another planet, Mandy seems like an alien, like some distant, angry, light years away moon. And it's possible Mandy is even more distant lately, ever since she walked out on her SATs, which her mom doesn't even know yet. This sounds like a Teen Titan adventure, doesn't it? Wow, God. Okay, after school special. Everyone thinks Mandy needs to go to college and become whoever you become at college, but Mandy has other plans. Mandy's big plan is that she's going to move to France and do whatever people do in France. What? But then everything changes when she gets partnered with Claire for a school project. Mandy likes Claire, even if she denies it heartily and intensely. She likes Claire a lot. You know, they're going to move to France together. How do you become the person you're supposed to be when you don't know what that is yet? How do you become the person you're supposed to be when the only thing you're sure of is what you're not? When someone from Starfire's past arrives, Mandy must make a choice, give up before the battle has even begun, or step into the unknown and risk everything to save her mom. Go make out with this girl from class, I guess. So this is the artwork. It's very Tumblrific. You know, this is very Tumblr. Oh, we got the Teen Titans here in the background where they belong. We've got Mandy stressing out over her SATs, I guess. Oh, she's got braces too. She's got to have braces too. This is the girl that she's crushing on. Why does her arms look like baboon arms? She's got like ape arms, and it's supposed to be freckles, but it looks like she's got Popeye arms with hair stubble. You know, like she's got very hairy forearms. I don't get it. They're going out of their way to make her as unattractive as possible. Here she is changing her hair color because, you know, she's nothing like her mama. She's nothing like her mom. She's got to wash the mom away. I mean, this is just, God, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. This is what DC thinks kids want. And they're sorely mistaken, because you look at the graphic novels that are selling, they're nothing like this. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the, what is selling in the YA space. Now, this is Tilting at Windmills, which is Brian Hibbs' column he does on Comics Beat. And I will give him credit. He's actually very good at the numbers. He actually keeps track of sales. Keeping track of what's selling. Now, this is coming from BookScan. This is what sold best last year in 2019. The best-selling graphic novel, according to BookScan, was Dogman, For Whom the Ball Rolls. Sold a little over 1 million copies in 2019. And then we kind of go down here and we see, Raina Telgemeier's selling, 400, 500,000 copies. More Dogman. It's almost all Dogman. Dogman. We get down here to Strange Planet, which had 200,000 copies. Again, Raina Telgemeier. Boy Crazy Stacy, another graphics book, 156,000. Now, you get the first book that I would say is close to what they're going for with this Starfire book is probably from First Second, 134,000 copies. We just keep going down. It's almost all Raina Telgemeier and Dogman, until you get number 20, which is My Hero Academia, 98,000 copies. Now, again, this is just, BookScan, and these are American numbers, all right? So the best-selling graphic novel, according to BookScan, for 2019 was Dogman, which they're hailing as a runaway success. And I guarantee you this Starfire graphic novel, I don't even think it's going to crack the top 20. Let's be honest here. They're trying to become graphics. It's not even going to crack the top 20. I do not believe it at all. But 1 million copies, right? Let's talk about Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer, which has been burning it up in Japan, but nobody knew just exactly how popular Demon Slayer was until this year. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Demon Slayer is shattering the record to claim spot as the highest selling manga of 2020. All right. How many copies of Demon Slayer was sold just in Japan? 82 million. 82 million copies of Demon Slayer just in Japan. Now, I'm assuming that is all of the books, right? And I think there's like 20 volumes. But still, That is many, 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 many times more than frickin' Dogman is selling. Demon Slayer is a massive, massive hit. And I don't know what Demon Slayer is selling here in the States yet. We won't know until probably a couple months into next year. We can see how Demon Slayer was doing. But I know it's selling well here in the US too. But go down the list here, right? Best-selling manga series in Japan by 2020. Demon Slayer just completely destroys everything else. 82 million copies, number one. Distant second place is Kingdom at 8 million copies. One Piece, almost 8 million. Then we got 7 million, almost 7 million, right? By volume, Demon Slayer 18, 19, 1, 8, 7. I mean, they dominate the top 10. This is insane. Now, Demon Slayer is, in a completely different league than a lot of other manga. It's just a combination of right place, right time, I think, but it's incredibly popular. I mean, it's incredibly popular. We know the movie was breaking records, Mugen Train, and this is just astronomical success. I mean, it's amazing. And the series was really low key. I guess it sat out there for like 5 years until it really started to catch on. And then people went back and bought all the back issues. And I think when the anime came out, that's when it really took off. But, there's nothing that DC is going to produce that's going to compete with that. And there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell that this is going to even come close. I don't even think this is going to break the top 20 for sure. But they're banking on it. Now, here's the thing. YA fiction is on the decline. In general, it kind of peaked around the Hunger Games, the early 2010s, 2010s, and it's sort of been on the decline. And we talked about this in the previous video, Geeky and I. It's actually harder to sell YA fiction now because there are fewer places publishing it. A lot of publishers are absorbing into each other. I mean, we see what's going on with Simon & Schuster and Penguin Random House. That's three of what used to be the big six publishers. Random House, Penguin, and Simon & Schuster, and they're merging into one entity to survive. And they're not buying, as I understand it, they're not buying a lot of YA stuff. And graphic novels are even more niche than prose. And it's a hard sell. In fact, we had our agent at the time, and this was 4 or 5 years ago, said that they really weren't in the market, these publishers, for dystopian science fiction, YA. Everybody had done it already. Everybody was over Twilight. They were over Hunger Games. They were over all these teen dystopian, YA books. They're basically books for kids that are appealing to adults. And it seems like that is, it's kind of grinding to a halt. But what's going on in the YA scene is it's incredibly toxic. And I think this is bleeding over into comics too. We talk about, the toxicity in the Tumblr comics crowd and the webcomics crowd. And, YA fiction has its own toxic element to it that they're constantly calling out writers on Twitter for all kinds of stuff. And we did a video earlier about a YA author who demanded that his book be unpublished because it was racially insensitive. The illustrations that he had no control over were racially insensitive and he didn't want it published. And the publisher, who was actually an Asian woman, I believe these were Asian characters, Asian woman came out and said, no, it's fine. I don't understand what the problem is. And this was a white guy, right? But it's very, very much on the decline that, again, they're eating each other alive. We have librarians and bloggers and people working at places, Publishers Weekly and the agents and the aspiring authors, and they're all crabs in the bucket. They're all trying to, they all want to be the next Twilight. They all want to be the next J.K. Rowling, and they drag each other down. And it's just a pretty messed up situation, right? If you really look into it, it is absolutely a toxic situation. Even last year, there were lots of articles about how YA was eating itself alive. To insiders, it's bettering itself because they're getting rid of the toxic element. They're getting rid of the toxic people. We need to get rid of the toxic people and the copycats and the wrong thinkers. And this is where DC Comics wants to come into it. And I guarantee you, if they chase and they court that YA audience, they're going to get all kinds of backlash. because it's never going to be enough. They're going to get backlash just because they're DC Comics, and they'll be like, you're taking opportunities away from independent cartoonists who could be publishing books through like, First Second or something, or through Graphix. DC Comics is trying to compete with, these other boutiques, and because they're DC Comics and they're owned by Warner, they're going to try to push themselves into the market. And they're going to get blowback, right? They are. So they're not going to make anybody happy. I mean, this is what I don't understand about this whole situation. They're definitely not going to compete with Manga on any level. They're not going to compete with Scholastic, for sure, because they got that locked down. And actually, Scholastic has a better lock on what kids are actually looking for and actually want to read than a lot of these other publishers. And they're going to find themselves on the receiving end, I think, of pushback from the YA community, and traditional comic book readers are not going to pick this stuff up. So I don't know who these books are for. I expect to see a lot of them probably get shipped off to Ollie's. I have no idea. It's just, but this is where they're going. This is where they're putting all their eggs into this basket. And going back to Brian Hibbs, he was talking about the end of DC Comics as we know it. And a lot of people have been talking about this. I know Ethan Van Sciver, who used to work for DC, has been talking about this. But this is true. The new people that they hired, and you go through this article on Comics Beat, and he gives you basically a blow-by-blow of everything that's happened with DC Comics, instigated, of course, by AT&T and Warner Media, trying to cut as much dead weight as they can, and all the people they're letting go. And the people they're letting go are the people who actually care about monthly superhero comics, and they're bringing in a guy from esports who's a self-proclaimed activist, and the people they're bringing in now to, produce these YA graphic novels, they're all the right kinds of people. They're all part of that YA literary scene and all of that, and I just don't think it's going to work. This seems like a Hail Mary pass, and this is just not good. I don't think it's going to work, guys. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I mean, maybe it'll sell... maybe they'll sell 83 million copies of I Am Not Starfire. But I think a lot of these YA books are going to be massive failures. I think they're going to wind up at, again, Ollie's discount. They're not going to compete with Scholastic. I think they got that market locked down. Graphix has had that locked down for a decade plus now. It's very tough to crack. And not with, corporate characters like this. I don't think they're going to crack it. I don't think the librarians are going to go for it as much as they think they are. And they're just going to piss off core comic book fans that might have purchased another Starfire book that was more traditional, more in line with, what their expectations are. But I don't know what the hell's going on. I have no idea. DC Comics, as we knew it, is effectively dead. And I think Marvel is following suit. And I just don't think AT&T or Warner give a shit at this point. They're like, what's selling? Oh, Dogman's selling, YA fiction's selling, manga's selling. Just do that. We'll see what happens. And if that doesn't work, that's it. It's game over. I think it's already game over. Who the hell knows? Gonna wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.